Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Monday, December 29th. Ian Cameron. Perlo will be along later in the show, and we're ready to break down this Monday NHL card. We've got a big slate for a Monday, which is unusual. But this is, of course, still the holiday season, and with New Year's Day being on a Thursday, which is, to be honest with you, they got a ton of games on New Year's Day. So I honestly don't know why there's a lot of games on Monday today, and certainly there is, but there is, and certainly we're excited about that. It's always good when it's a big slate, and like I said, we do have a very big 11-game NHL slate to talk about here tonight. Before we get to that, we'll recap yesterday. Montreal, they almost did it. They almost pulled the comeback, and give them credit. I actually thought they were the better team yesterday. It's unfortunate. I like the spot still, despite the fact they lost 5-4 in a shootout. They did everything but score in the first period. They outplayed Tampa in the first, just didn't score. And every little defensive breakdown and mistake they made with the puck, Tampa Bay was able to capitalize on it. So there's definitely a lot of problems there as far as what we saw from the...
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, now the mic should sound better. Yeah, but there were definitely a lot of defensive breakdowns that led to certainly the 2 goals by Kucherov for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And we also saw, obviously, just those little blunders come back to bite the Montreal Canadiens. In a game they outplayed Tampa, but weren't able to get the win. They at least came back to force overtime. You do admire the fight, the battle level that we saw from the Habs to come back and force overtime in that game. And what an overtime it was, back and forth, and Tampa Bay gets the win. The good news is Montreal's comeback means we cashed the full game over. We cashed the team total for Montreal. So while we lost the money line with Montreal and the first period looks fell short, which was frustrating, it could have been worse. In that game. Alex is on his way back home. He's at the airport. There he is. He's in the chat. He's at the airport right now. Yeah, he'll be back tomorrow. Him and Matt will be on the show. I think Matt's going to be on the show tomorrow, but definitely Alex will be tomorrow. So excited about that. I know you all missed him. So, right? You all missed him now. And definitely, like I said, we're going to have Alex likely back with us tomorrow when he's back home in Minnesota. So Tampa Bay, to give Tampa credit, I mean, they didn't play great, but Johansson played a pretty good game, and they found a way to win in a tough spot because they were coming off that war against Florida the night before. So Tampa gets the win there. Columbus comes back to beat the New York Islanders 4-2 yesterday. Nice win for them. And Jonathan Davis pointed out that's now 8-1 as a home favorite this year for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Meanwhile, they're 0-7 as a home underdog. That is something you got to file away for future reference, that when you see Columbus at home, make sure you recognize when they're a dog, when they're a favorite, because they have been certainly a much different team in both of those roles. They've struggled mightily stepping up in class in the home dog role, but they have been very good in the home favorite role. So make sure you keep that in mind, and they get the win 4-2 against the Islanders. A little bit nasty game there with the little incident there where the Marchment stuck out his knee. Barzal didn't like it on Schaefer. He stuck out his knee. Barzal came to his defense. That was a vicious two-hander right across the leg there of Marchment. He might get disciplined for it, Barzal. That was pretty nasty to see that. I know Marchment is not a choir boy or an angel out there on the ice, but nevertheless, that was a vicious slash by Matt Barzal, and probably going to face some kind of discipline for that. But Jackets with a nice 4-2 win. Jackets are playing Ottawa tonight, and at least the latest news is that game is still on, but there's a lot to talk about regarding Columbus. Flight issues. Didn't get out of Columbus until like an hour or two ago for that game tonight against Ottawa. So we'll talk more about that in just a bit. Detroit 3-2 win in overtime against Toronto. This was a great game, man. This was a phenomenal hockey game. I thought, both teams, great goals, great great pace in that game. It's actually unfortunate if you had the over, because I thought it was an over pace, but you only had the 5 goals. The goaltending was great. I thought Talbot was very good. And Dennis Hildeby was excellent, because I thought the longer that game went, Detroit was getting the better chances and getting the better pressure on Toronto. I thought Hildeby was absolutely phenomenal for the Leafs, even in a losing cause. Unfortunately, he tried to get the puck to his teammate Austin Matthews, didn't get enough on it. It gets picked off, and what a goal by Simon Edvinsson, a little dipsy-do to beat Hildeby and win it in overtime. Not to mention he got stung by a shot block early in the game, and he could barely move out there, and there he was still trying to block shots during a Leaf power play and getting his stick in the lane, and one of these heroic shifts from Simon Edvinsson in that game when he clearly was not feeling right after blocking a shot. So give him a lot of credit, no doubt. A hell of a game from him, and that sequence that he had when he was shaken up early in the game was really, really, really cool. Terrible game from Chicago. They were dominated early. That was the fear, right? You beat Dallas, you're rolling in late. Pittsburgh knows that, coming out of the break, we're not playing poorly. We got to atone, and it reminded me of, and Jonathan said it too, Anaheim, LA, struggling team coming out of the break, and they jump on their opponent. LA did that against Anaheim, and Pittsburgh did that last night against Chicago. It was game over after the first period. Spencer Knight got pulled, although you can't blame him for every goal that went in, and Soderblom finished up. That being said, we did have Chicago team total over and the full game over. We ended up making out okay with that game. Penguins and Blackhawks. We cashed the team total over. 1 second on the clock. Thank you very much, Tyler Bertuzzi, for getting that third Chicago goal in the dying second of the game to get that team total over to hit for us with Chicago, and we had the full game over. And Pittsburgh's still an over team. I mean, they can score. We saw that last night, but I still don't think they're good defensively. They just caught Chicago in a bad spot, bad night. They're still not a great defensive team, and like I said, Pittsburgh's a very difficult team to bet under the total right now. Seattle, give them credit. This is a good run now that Seattle's put together. They won a few in a row going into the break, and they come out of the break with a 4-1 win over the Philadelphia Flyers. It was a very good game from Grubauer. The Grubauer slander is over for now. He has had a couple of really good starts in a row now for the Kraken. Give him credit. 31 saves on 32 shots last night for the Seattle Kraken. He was great in net. Outplayed Dan Vladar, quite honestly. Seattle was more opportunistic. Chandler Stevenson scored again for them. 2 goals from Tolvanen, 2 empty net goals, but 2 goals from Eeli Tolvanen. But the highlight of the game, you know what it is, with 2 minutes left, just when all hope is lost. And Carl Grundstrom, witness the power of Grundstrom, comes through. Bargain bin special of the night from me at plus 700 to at least hit one of the 3 that I gave out on the show yesterday. So it was awesome to see that. Carl Grundstrom at plus 700. It's now 3 straight games with a goal for him. You got to ride the wave. I mean, you got to. You can rest assured I will be betting Carl Grundstrom to score in Philadelphia's next game, which I believe is going to be tomorrow night, if I'm not mistaken. But 3 games in a row with a goal. He got the only goal for the Philadelphia Flyers in that 4-1 loss to the Seattle Kraken. So great to see that. And like I said, excited about what we've got going on here as far as this card coming up here for this Monday slate. All right, let's get into it. Perla will be along later in the show. We're on a time crunch today. It's just one of these days. You're running around, you're doing some things. So we're going to try to keep this within an hour. Let's start with Washington and Florida. We've got Florida minus 120, home favorites. Total here sitting at 5.5. Panthers losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning in that wild physical war. It was warfare on ice. That's really what it was for the Florida-Tampa game on Saturday. But Florida emerging victorious there in that game. We'll see if they can follow it up here. Or bounce back, rather, after losing 4-2 to Tampa Bay. Looks like Bobrovsky and Thompson going to be your goaltenders. Washington off a comeback win in overtime against New Jersey on Saturday night in their first game following the Christmas break. I don't worry about Florida losing to Tampa. It was one of those games. They're playing good hockey. Price looks cheap to me. I actually like Florida here at a minus 120 price here in this game. I like that. I think I like the total even just a little bit more. I like over 5.5 here. with these two teams. Panthers are scoring goals. We've talked about that ad nauseum during this great, 8-3 run they've had in their last 11 games. The goals are being scored. Their defensive game has been okay. It hasn't been great, and Tampa scores 4 against them on Saturday. And there's been an over series between these two teams, 3 straight overs head-to-head between these two teams. Washington, 3 of their last 4 games have gone over the total. Florida, 4 straight overs, and 7-3 in their last 10 games, trending to the over. So a lot of series history. I think both teams, like, the key with this bet is maybe I'm not excited about it at 6.5, but you're going to dole out a 5.5 here with the way these two teams, and Washington has perked up again a little bit offensively. Their defensive numbers have kind of dropped off a little bit in recent games. Florida's scoring, but they've not been totally locking it down defensively. So you put it all together, I think 5.5's a little light for this total. So over 5.5, and I like Florida here, -120 in this game. As far as player props are concerned, for the Capitals and the Panthers, let's get up our game sheet here just for a sec. See the notes, what we had. Yeah, Protas again, you're still getting a good price with him too in that plus 400 range. He scored in back-to-back games for the Washington Capitals. We'll see if he can keep that goal-scoring streak going. 7 of the last 9 between them have had 6 or more goals, says Jonathan. So there you go. Yeah, that's why 5.5, like I said, 6.5. Do I love this total, this over? No. 5.5. Do I love it? Yes. I mean, it's all about where this number's placed. And I think 5.5 is a little cheap with this total. All right. Protas for Washington, back-to-back games with a goal. Like I said, Jacob Chikrin scored last game. He's actually scored in 4 of the last 10 games. And considering the prices you're getting, it's probably worth a shot. Beauvillier, he's getting more ice time, getting opportunities in the top 6. Marchand, Kuhlman, Luostarinen, and Lundell, never a bad idea as far as this game is concerned. So, yeah, there you go, 6-3 3 times in a row with these two teams. So, yeah, 5.5's too low to me. I think we can get there. And like I said, these two teams have actually had a history of playing to the over and a little bit high scoring between them. All right, next up, we've got Rangers and Hurricanes. Carolina -180, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. This is not much for me here. This is actually a pass for me. I don't have a bet on this game right now. I don't feel like I'm in a rush to Carolina finally closed the door with a lead in the third period. That had been a bugaboo for them. They finally were able to do it against Detroit. But still, -180 with them here in this spot. Rangers have been one of these teams that have played them pretty tough. Igor Shesterkin confirmed in net for the Rangers. I believe it's going to be Kochetkov for Carolina, but that hasn't been confirmed. Of course, still a banged-up Hurricanes team. No Slavin, no Jarvis. Keandre Miller missed the last game day-to-day with an injury. The Rangers were hoping for Adam Fox to return from injury for this game, but it looks like Mike Sullivan making the update that Adam Fox will not be able to return here tonight for the New York Rangers here in this game. Yeah, this is a pass for me overall, side total. Rangers, overall, they've been better on the road than they've been at home to this point in the season. They're coming off a shutout loss, though, to the New York Islanders, their first game following the Christmas break, looking to bounce back. Like I said, Carolina needing to shut the door after blowing, multiple leads in a row. They were able to do that. Rangers won in Carolina the last time they were here, 4-2, but that snapped a 5-game win streak in the series for the Carolina Hurricanes. Igor Shesterkin over saves. I'm never going to tell anyone, don't take over saves for the opposing netminder on the road against Carolina. Carolina just shoots the puck a ton, and even more so on home ice. So if anyone's liking the Shesterkin over saves, I don't argue with that one bit. And they're usually a higher volume team at home shooting the puck. So keep that in mind. I don't really have much, so we can move on. Now, we're going to move on to a game that we're starting to worry if this game was going to happen. Columbus and Ottawa. We've got Ottawa -210 home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. But Columbus did finally take off from the airport in Columbus, Ohio for Ottawa about an hour or two ago. Mechanical issues. People were saying it was weather related because there's a lot of wind and there's some ice storm in some areas of the Northeast right now. And a lot of people were saying that it was related to that. Yeah, I should point out about that Carolina game. Rich in Van City is on it. Rich H, our good pal. Eric Robinson prop, bet it. I don't know what's happened to this guy. All of a sudden, he's caught fire here of late for the Hurricanes. He's been a little scoring machine for them. Plus 700. Damn right. 3 games in a row with a goal. I almost missed mentioning that. 4 out of 10 he scored. 3 out of 5 he scored a goal for this Hurricanes team. Eric Robinson. Well, cheers to you, Mr. Robinson. Yeah, that's a bad song reference. Bad job by me. It's Mrs. Robinson, the song, not Mr. But nevertheless, Eric Robinson plus 700. Like I said, that's a good look. That's absolutely something you got to sprinkle on that 3-game goal streak for the guy. So anyway, Columbus, Ottawa, it looked like this game might get postponed. I mean, even Bill Daly and the folks at the NHL league offices were starting to get involved, saying we're going to monitor this situation, make sure that Columbus can get there in time. But it looks like right now that Columbus is on its way to Ottawa, expected to arrive in the next hour, 3:30 Eastern, get to Canadian Tire Center in Ottawa by 4 Eastern, and all systems go for this game. Maybe they push the start time back 30 minutes. We'll have to wait and see. They've done that before. To a game or two earlier this season due to extenuating circumstances. But I do expect this game to get played. And if it does get played, given what Columbus has gone through today, no morning skate, your whole routine is just completely, screwed up. Your first time you're going to hit the ice today or do anything really as far as, working out, getting yourself in shape for the game, stretching, just the routine that a player goes through on game day. You're not really going to do any of that until pregame skate at 6:30 Eastern before this game starts. That's pretty tough. So I could see a bad start for Columbus. I think the Ottawa first goal, first period makes a ton of sense, especially coming off a 7-5 loss in the Battle of Ontario Saturday night against Toronto, that we could see a good opening start here to the Ottawa Senators, jump on a Columbus team and just bad situationals conspiring against them here with the late flight into Ottawa here. So I like that angle of Ottawa first goal, first period. Ottawa first period puck line. I also like that. Ottawa first period puck line. -0.5. You get a plus price on that. That makes a lot of sense. Target the first period. I don't want Ottawa -210 full game. That price is just not good enough to me. Ottawa team total over makes a ton of sense because I also think we're going to see our buddy Elvis Merzlikins in net, not by choice, but because of necessity here. Back-to-back. I don't think they're going to start Greaves on a back-to-back. There's not much you can do. You can't put Greaves in on every back-to-back, even though Merzlikins is not any good. You eventually have to get Greaves a rest here and there. And I think this could be a spot when it's not confirmed yet, because Columbus has been more focused on getting their asses to Ottawa, not who's talking to the media and, talking about what their lineup's going to look like tonight. But I think it is going to be Elvis Merzlikins here in this game. So I like the Ottawa team total over. I like the over by Fecta. And I was on the over in the last meeting between these teams, and it was an Elvis Merzlikins start in the last game between the Jackets and the Senators in Columbus. I remember that game, and Ottawa beat them 6-3. So I think it's a full game over spot, 6.5 here as well. So it's Ottawa first period puck line, Ottawa first goal, first period. It's Ottawa team total over. It's over by Fecta here as well. Over 1.5 first period, over 6.5 here with the full game as well. Just in time, here he is, Perlo, back with us. First time post-Christmas break. Perlo, welcome in. What do you got going here? Jackets, Senators.
I got everything you just said, and I also have Ottawa money line and over 5.5. I like that. You got a nice price on that. Just go over quick because I hear you're in a little bit of a crunch. I'll go over the other game. I'll give you what I got, but I won't give my reasons too much. The Hurricanes game, I got Rangers no goal first period. Haven't been scoring in first period at all. I have Hurricanes puck line second period and Hurricanes -1 with the draw. And the Capitals Panthers, I have Panthers over 3 and 3.5 split. 3 is -140, or it was last night. It might be juice now. I got the over 5.5 like you did, -120. I got Rangers ML, first period puck line for Florida and second period over for the game. There, that catches us up.
There we go. Good stuff. All right. Awesome. What about Washington, Florida? Did you mention that?
Yeah, that was it. The Washington, Florida, over 5.5, over second period. Panthers over 3 and 3.5 split, and Panthers ML.
There you go. Good stuff. All right, we are caught up indeed. As far as props for this game, with I'm going to go to the well with Marchment. Marchment, Fantilli, Marchenko looks like the top line here. So Marchment, Marchenko obviously got the donkey hat, if you will, after the Columbus win yesterday against the New York Islanders. So, he's probably worth a look there as well. Timmy Stützle scored now multiple games in a row, and you know how streaky that guy can get. He looks like he's starting to get into a little bit of a heater in the short term here for the Ottawa Senators. It looks like tonight, by the way, that our guy, Mr. Pinto, back in the lineup, activated from injured reserve, and will be back in the lineup for the Senators here. 10-game absence for him, but don't forget what he did before his absence. 12 goals in 27 games for Parlay Pinto here, Shane Pinto for the Ottawa Senators. So maybe this is back in the lineup and on the scoreboard for Ottawa, especially if he faces Elvis Merzlikins, which I expect. Certainly an opportunity, I think, for the Senators to get on the board here. All right, it's on Monday. It's only on Prime. It's your Amazon Prime Monday game next up, Edmonton and Winnipeg. We've got Edmonton minus 120, road favorites in this game, total sitting at 6.5. It is 6 in some spots. Shop around. There are some books that have 6, couple have 6s. Shop around for that, because this is an over that I do like here, and I'll explain why. I just did, you always look at teams off a loss, teams in certain situations. What's their performance pattern? I couldn't believe it when I saw that Edmonton, off a loss, and specifically off a loss where they score 2 goals or less. And we saw that against Calgary. They lost 3-2. So they're off a loss of 2 goals or less. Go look at their games. Go look at their game totals the next game. Off a loss where they scored 2 goals or less. It's been over machine for Edmonton. Every game pretty much this year over, just about. Almost every single. I think one stayed under, one for Edmonton. Off a loss where they've only scored 2 goals or less. It's been overs. Every time Edmonton, for the most part this year, has off a loss where they've been held to 2 goals or less, which is the case, obviously, for them tonight because they lost 3-2 to Calgary. So obviously when they're off that kind of loss and they don't score as many goals, the focus is let's get the offense going. And right now Winnipeg is obliging teams that want to get their offense going. Not even Connor Hellebuck has made it all that much better. He hasn't been awesome, but he hasn't been terrible either. This is a product of the team in front of them. Just they're giving up too much quality. They can't hold leads, and we saw that with Utah. We saw that with Minnesota on Saturday night. All kinds of situations where Winnipeg's just they're dicey now at the defensive end of the ice. No question about that. So like I said, I like over here. I could only look at the Edmonton side, minus 120 here in this game. I think I will sprinkle on the Oilers. My hope is Winnipeg, because they're pissed after the loss to Minnesota, coughing that game up, losing in overtime, that just maybe the Jets get on the board first, and then I'll jump on Edmonton at plus money. That's kind of my approach. So it's only a small little sprinkle on them pregame at minus 120, but I like this over, and I got over 6 minus 120. If you can only get 6.5, I still think it's okay. I don't trust Pickard either in net for the Edmonton Oilers. He'll get the start tonight. To be honest with you, I don't think there's been any issue with Ingram. Ingram's been solid here these last couple of times we've seen him, and Pickard's numbers for the full season just haven't been that great this year so far. So there's still a lot of prove it to me in Calvin Pickard right now whenever he gets the nod in net for the Oilers. So I like this over 6 minus 120. Small bet on Edmonton. I'll take Edmonton plus money in game if they fall behind. Perlo, what do you think here? Oilers Jets.
Right there with you. I got it last night as soon as it came out. I followed Edmonton quite a bit. And after that trend, you just can't avoid. I mean, they just are over. It could be win, could be loss, but it's definitely over. And I do have Edmonton. I'm like you. I want to be more on Edmonton here, but the Edmonton Oilers coming off of breaks, man. You just never know with them. But I did take them a little bit and hold my breath and take them for minus 120. I also have the both teams to score in the second period. Be watching that out. Watching for that. Both of these teams tend to wake up in the second period quite a bit. Oilers overs are quite a bit as well. So I like both teams to score in the second period quite a bit here.
I added it all up. Edmonton this season. Turn your ears up. Make sure you get this. This is something you file away for future reference when you see this appear. Edmonton games this year off a loss and scoring 2 goals or less in that loss for the Edmonton Oilers in their next game this year, 9-1 to the over. 9-1. 9 of 10 games in this situation off a loss where they've scored 2 goals or less have gone over the total. It's natural. They've got 2 of the best offensive talents in the sport, McDavid and Draisaitl. Your natural inclination when you lose and you only score 2 goals or less is let's ramp it up now. We gotta we can't be scoring 2 goals now. And so that is something to file away. And this has kind of been it's been pretty strong overall over the years, Edmonton. Overs off a loss and a low scoring loss for them, but especially this season, like 9-1 to the over in 10 games following a loss where they've scored 2 or less. That's pretty damn strong. So that's why I ended up on that. I didn't feel strong about this total initially, but then I saw that and I'm like, okay, I'm going to bet it. I'm not going to. Makes a lot of sense.
There's 2 goaltender props I didn't get to. Somebody mentioned the Shesterkin over. I like that. 27.5 is pretty good. This one, even though I like over and Edmonton to score, when they do that again, same thing. Look at their shot totals, man. It is insane. They're going to be shooting from everywhere, and it's only 23.5. They could score, for Hellebuyck here. I still think he'll stop enough, but they'll get up to like 35 shots possibly in this game. And even if they score 5, he goes way over that 23.5. So Hellebuyck over saves too.
Well, all right, Buffalo, St. Louis. We've got Buffalo minus 115 road favorites. 6 the total here in this game, 5.5 in some spots. So again, make sure you shop around as far as the total is concerned. I did take Buffalo here. We're riding the 8-game win streak. Do I love it here? No, but because St. Louis, to me, I said this before their win against Nashville after the break 3-2, that this team could get on a run. I still don't know how good they are, St. Louis, but it's not totally impossible they could go on a bit of a run because they have dramatically underachieved. No one expected the Blues to be this bad, this year. Do they go on a run at some point? They might. But you know what? How I get when it's a team that's on a heater like the Buffalo Sabres are, 8 in a row. You ride the team until the streak comes to an end. That being said, I don't love it. This is a smaller bet for me, Buffalo minus 115. I got nothing on the total. I think it could go either way. What I will say is you've got, I think, optimal goaltending matchup for maybe an under. And the one thing about Buffalo here going into this game is, and Mike Harrington's on it, the great beat writer of the Sabres, they are committing defensively for the first time in ages. They are playing a style that, hey, when we don't have the puck, we're going to make sure we're in good structure. We're in good position. We're helping out our goaltenders. We're boxing out in front. Their effort away from the puck has gone up tenfold. That is why they've won 8 in a row. It's not just because, they're finding ways to score goals and win. No, they are in a situation where they have been a better team defensively for the first time in ages. That has helped. Alex Lyon will be in net for Buffalo. I think he's played pretty well of late. And St. Louis and Jim Montgomery had just finally admitted it. He's been taking a while to admit it, but he's finally admitted it in the yesterday when he spoke to the media in between the Nashville win and this game, that Hofer's his better goalie right now. He just is. Binnington's having a rough go and said, we're going to just ride the hot hand here a little bit. That's what he said. That's what his quote was, Montgomery. And right now that's Joel Hofer. Who's played a little bit better than Jordan Binnington of late. So Hofer will be back in net. He was very solid in the 3-2 win against Nashville. Made some big saves, especially to preserve that lead. So it's a good matchup. Buffalo, like I said, another thing with the Sabres is that win against Boston, 4-1. And look at the unders all of a sudden. Speaks to what I just said. They have played better away from the puck. 6-1 under run for the Sabres in their last 7 games. So small bet on Buffalo. That's all I got here. I wouldn't talk anyone out of a draw either. East versus West. No one's going to care if the other gets a point. Perlo, what do you think?
Well, I've been riding Buffalo since Seattle. I had them in Seattle. I like the cut of their jib and the way that, and that I thought that general manager change was really good. I'm actually a huge Kekalainen supporter. I thought he did a great job in Columbus, and I think he's doing a great job here. I like a lot of the things he's saying. Now, really, when it comes to Buffalo, it's a surprise, but how much of a surprise should it be? Because we've been looking at this roster for a while going, this team should be better than it is. And now you got that Oslin kid with Norris and Tuck on the third line. This is a deep team. And so, like you said, with St. Louis could be going on a run, getting their guys back, all of that. It's that time when they can go for a run. I do have a little less on it, but I did take the Sabres in this one too. I've been riding them. I made a lot of money off of them, so I'm going to keep riding them. I also have a bargain bin in this game for later. I do like that draw a little bit. You brought it up. I could definitely see a draw with both of these teams playing hard here. St. Louis coming back, so I'm going to throw a little bit on the draw, which usually it's draw and dog, but I'm going to go. It's a good enough price where I'll go draw on the Sabres on this one.
All right, good stuff indeed there with that game. As far as it's not a huge prop game for me there with the Sabres and the Blues there tonight, but just a couple that I want to mention here as far as just Stenberg is up with Shen and Kyrou. Keep that in mind. Neighbors is with Thomas and Buchnevich, and of course they got Snuggerud back recently as well. For the Buffalo Sabres, that Oatsland Norris talk line's been good. Doan with Thompson, and even Peyton Krebs up with Thompson. You know what it is? Peyton Krebs is giving them a little bit of a different dimension to that line, a little bit, which is nice. He's a hardworking player, Krebs. And for a guy that's got offensive talent, you could say that about Doan as well. So, it's been nice to have those players flanking Tage Thompson. It's worked out well for the Buffalo Sabres. So we'll see if, like I said, that chemistry can continue. That's an underrated, I should say, game tonight. Buffalo and St. Louis.
Another thing about that Krebs thing, this is the Kekalainen influence. Krebs is one of the biggest Buffalo Sabres supporters and has been ever since he got traded there. And they need a culture change there. So you put that guy up on the top line. The guy is like the biggest supporter and fan. Fans love him. So you're telling them, look, you support this team and you believe in this team and you're going up on the top line. I love it. I thought it was a great move.
There's no doubt. All right, next up, we've got LA and Colorado. Colorado minus 230, home favorites, 6 the total in this game. I think finally the last home game. Yeah, the last home game for Colorado, it was a scoreless first period against Utah. But prior to that, we've talked about these first period overs at home for Colorado. I think it's still 13-4. 13-4, if I'm not mistaken, on the season for first period overs for Colorado home games. So I'm still going to sprinkle on that here, first period over. I mean, the goal in the first 5 minutes, too. We've talked about that. It's been strong for Colorado at home, so you're going to get plus 160, plus 170, something like that for goal in the first 5 minutes. I don't mind that. One thing I noted here, does anyone believe that LA is back on track by beating Anaheim? I'm not there yet. I'm definitely not there yet. I got to see more. It was a good first step, but Anaheim was, let's be honest, they were horseshit in that game too. It wasn't all good LA, that is for sure. Now, one thing that's been pretty consistent with the Kings and the Avs, you look at the last 5 meetings, regardless of the venue, LA or Colorado. Colorado has scored 4 goals plus 5 straight times against the Los Angeles Kings. 5 straight times, regardless of whether the game's been in Colorado or whether the game has been in LA. So 3.5 minus 120 is what I'm seeing out there for a Colorado team total. Sign me up. Perlo, what do you think here, Kings Avs?
Yeah, I bet that at minus 115 last night for that very reason. I don't know why they like to spank LA, and if you like to spank LA, this is the LA team to spank. I don't believe they played against an Anaheim team that obviously wasn't ready to play for that game. Young kids coming off of Christmas and all that kind of stuff like that. So if they think they're good now, have fun. I don't do this often, but I took Colorado puck line too. I took Kings team total under 2.5. Kings no goal first period at plus 100. And Colorado first period puck line. So I think Colorado come correct at home here. No problems. And take this pretty easily. If LA surprises me, good for you, but I still don't believe in them.
Well, and this is series history all over it with this bet too. And you actually 3.5 at Pinnacle is minus 110 with the Colorado team total over. So wow, what a price there. Colorado team total over 3.5 at minus 110. Again, they have scored at least 5 straight times against the Los Angeles Kings. 5 straight. where Colorado has scored at least 4 goals. And yeah, I think it will be Anton Forsberg. I'm expecting Anton Forsberg. Darcy Kemper is close to returning. He's close to a return for the LA Kings, but just not quite yet. I think it's probably going to be more so next week or this weekend maybe before we see Darcy Kemper back in net for the LA Kings. If he had been available to start in this game, that would have made for an interesting dynamic because, of course, he was here years ago winning a Stanley Cup with this Colorado Avalanche team. So would have had a chance to face his former team, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Even though we're on Colorado team total, we did see the Kings score 6 against Anaheim, and it was a much-needed outburst for them offensively. And I'm going back to the well now. I know he had a hat trick. Sometimes when you bet on a goal prop with a player off a game where he scored a hat trick, he's pretty quiet. But you still have to take a look at Alex Laferriere, in my opinion, for the LA Kings. He's been obviously one of their best players of late. They finally committed to giving him runway with Kopitar and with Kempe on that top line for the LA Kings. So, like I said, definitely that is what I'm. It's great value. If you're going to keep giving us Alex Laferriere at plus 440 to score a goal when he's on the top line, you got to bet it. Doesn't mean he's going to score every night, but that's a price you have to take, at least in my opinion. All right, Boston, Calgary. We've got Calgary minus 130, home favorite, 6 the total. I'm just going to sum up my analysis with this. There's no chance I want any part of Boston right now. They are in a full-blown funk, a full-blown slump for the first time this year, and it's been a long one, and it's been a bad one, and it's everything. They're not defending well. The goaltending's been iffy, and now they're not scoring as much. 2 goals against Montreal, 1 goal against Buffalo in their last 2 losses. This is the Bruins we kind of all expected to see. It took a while for them to show up, but finally they are. But am I laying minus 130 with Calgary off a big win in the Battle of Alberta? That doesn't feel like great value or a great spot to me. So the only bet I have here is draw. Give me the draw. It feels like a classic, good old-fashioned draw spot. West versus East, 2 middling teams. One thing I do expect is urgency from Boston, even though they haven't been playing well. But do I trust them to win? No. And I don't love Calgary enough in this spot or this price to bet them. So give me the draw. I think we have overtime potential. Perlo, what are you thinking here? Bruins, Flames.
We are not very often we're on the exact same page here, but I have the draw in this game as well. One thing I will add though, I think coming off that big win against the Oilers, I have and Boston's sense of urgency here. I kind of feel like I want to say when the Flames won that game, they acted like they won the Stanley Cup. It was crazy, man. I don't know what the heck was going on. I've seen them beat the Oilers before, but to beat them like that and act like you did something fantastic in the middle of a season, what the hell? I'm leaning Boston here, but like you said, it's hard to trust them right now. But I do trust them in the first period. So I'm going to take Boston to score the first goal in the first period. I think Boston's going to come out hard here in the first period. The Flames maybe got a little celebration still in them from the Edmonton game or whatever the hell that was. So I'm going to take a little bit on Boston to score a goal in the first period. And I'm going to take a little bit on the over here too. I got it at 5.5. I do think they'll wake up. I think they'll go back and forth. So you look at maybe a 3-3 correct score. That kind of tickles me there a little bit. I think that could be a good bet. 3-3 correct score and over 5.5. But small bets because I don't trust either one of these teams. So.
Yeah. First period over, says, hey, Matt Robinson in the chat. Like I said, Matt, I think is with us tomorrow. Like I said, believe tomorrow he'll be with us. Tuesday's normally his day. He's got a lot of things going on around the holidays, but I think he'll be with us tomorrow. And Alex is definitely back tomorrow. So excited about that. And so there you go. Yeah, I don't mind the under in this game. It does feel like it's probably, both teams might play a little cagey here in this game. No question. That's the thing. They're trying. I do agree with what Aaron's saying. They're trying to shore up their defensive play, but now they're not scoring either. And now it's a double wedge. So they are focusing on trying to tighten up defensively, but now all of a sudden the goals have dried up. Just 3 in the last 2 games for this Bruins team. So that's always how it works. Whenever you hear a coach say we got to tighten things up defensively, it's like an automatic, whoa, look out. The offense is going to dry up now too.
And almost always once they get desperate, it starts to go the other way. Like that's what you're seeing with Toronto. And I think that's what's going to happen here. They're desperate. They need a win. So I think this is actually closer to an over. But.
Yeah, Matt's on tomorrow. There we go. Good stuff. So everybody's in, the whole gang's ready to rock on Tuesday. Me, Matt, Alex will be back as well. Good stuff. All right, Nashville, Utah. Utah minus 140 home favorites, 5.5 the total. I don't want to say I'm tightening the belt for Ian Cameron standards with the volume of bets here coming out of the Christmas break. Normally, I'm going to give you something on every game, but I've already given you a complete pass with Rangers Hurricanes, and I'm giving you a complete pass here. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't want Nashville, and I don't want to lay this kind of a price with Utah either. Over, under, flip a coin, could go either way. Nashville has kind of leveled off again. They had a nice little overrun, but now their offense is a little bit dampered, a little bit tapered off. And they've had a few unders here in some recent games. So we'll see how this one goes. Yeah, nothing really strong overall here with this one. Perlo, hopefully you've got something more than I do. Predators, Mammoth.
Sergachev over 1.5 shots, minus 140 at home. He goes over all the time. I had it as a best bet a little while ago, and I've been riding it. So I would look at that. But I agree, this is a tough game to cap. Utah's first game. This is their first game back after the break, right? So Nashville's got their legs. Utah really doesn't have their legs. If you're going to play anything Nashville, I don't mind the first period just simply because Utah could be a little tight coming in here with off the break. So I might even sprinkle on that because you are getting plus money on it. Nashville or money line first period. But besides that, this game is blah to me. I don't really know what to do with it.
Yeah, remember Nashville's just 6-10 on the road this season still, even though they've had a little resurgence here. They're still only a 6-10 road team, and Utah does have a winning 9-7 home record. So keep that in mind. Utah, this is Utah's first game following the break. I'm trying to think how it played out yesterday, but we saw Montreal play Tampa when Montreal didn't play. Since the break, Tampa had. Montreal lost. That was one game yesterday where we saw it. And there was another game yesterday. Oh, yeah, Islanders Jackets. But it was the rested team that ended up winning that game over the team that had a game under their belt since the break. So it's like 50-50. I don't think there's
Vanacek is in too. I just realized that Vanacek is in for Utah.
Yeah, it looks like it will be. Vanacek confirmed for Utah in net here in this game. Marchessault, by the way, day-to-day for the Nashville Predators here. All right, let's continue along. We've got Vancouver and Seattle. Vancouver minus 115 road favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. This is another one, man. Seattle's got a little something cooking here right now. And the good news is it's back-to-back for Seattle, but no travel. They get back-to-back home games here after beating Philadelphia 4-1 last night. Vancouver's cooled off again. The tail end of that road trip, we saw them lose that was a terrible spot against Philly, and they ended up losing that game at the end of the road trip was brilliant. They hadn't lost since the Quinn Hughes deal, for crying out loud, until that loss to the Philadelphia Flyers at the end of that road trip. And then they come back home and, I know San Jose's not been as great lately, but I said, damn, that's a spot where I still like San Jose early and maybe to win that game. And I was on San Jose first goal first period, and to win against Vancouver, money line there. And they got the job done, beating Vancouver 6-3 on home ice. We'll see how this one plays out. DeBrusk's a healthy scratch. I mean, we've certainly seen that before, going back to his days with the Boston Bruins. Head-to-head, it's worth pointing out that Seattle has really given Vancouver problems to the tune of 7-2 in the last 9 meetings between these the cross-border rivals, I guess you could say, the Canucks and the Kraken out on the West Coast. This is that Seattle back-to-back spot, but we can't talk about them being winless in this spot anymore. They finally won on a back-to-back right before the break last week against the hapless LA Kings. Remember that? That was the first win in 18 games on the second night of back-to-back for the Seattle Kraken. So can they make it 2 in a row on the second night of back-to-back? Yeah, not a side I'm interested in here, Canucks and Kraken, quite honestly. There are a couple props I'm interested in, which I'll mention, but nothing side or total for me pregame. I'm not taking Vancouver, right now, given what I've seen here the last couple of games. That being said, and it was finally a little bit of, and it shows you how important it is for Demko to play well. He has a subpar game by his recent standards where he's been great, and they don't win against San Jose. And now you go to Kevin Lankinen tonight, And for as good as Kevin Lankinen was, which got him the contract extension after last year, 3.51 goals against, 880 save percentage, 5-13 is the record in Lankinen appearances this year. That's not a track record I'm looking at as a slight road favorite here. That's for sure. But do I want to back Seattle that badly on a back-to-back? No, I don't. A couple props I'll mention, but first, Perlo, what do you think? Vancouver, Seattle.
It is kind of tough. That's by the way, we get some props for, and I mentioned it when they made the hiring. I really do like Lambert as a coach, and I think he's done a hell of a job with the Kraken here. And Jessica Campbell as the assistant that they kept on too. Both of those, they're doing a fantastic job. Also, like Foot, these are like the two teams with the coaches that don't get much play but are doing really good with very little. But I'm going to go back to the over here. I just think these teams, they do kind of hate each other, but when they play against each other, if I remember correctly, they go over quite a bit. Seattle's been scoring a lot. Vancouver shoots a lot,
and they did get Vince Dunn on the blue line and Jared McCann back from injury.
You go.
Talking about a mobile, offensive-minded defenseman and Jared McCann, one of their best forwards scoring-wise. So there you go.
Right. I'm going to sprinkle on the over here, but I agree with you. It's a tough game. I would probably lean to Seattle just because they're in such good form right now, and Vancouver is probably starting to come back to earth after having that huge bump. So I would lean Seattle, but I'm probably not putting anything on it. Sprinkle a little bit on the over, and I'll just leave it at that with this game.
Oh, shit, that's right. This is that Vancouver-Seattle crazy. That's right, Jonathan. Thank you for reminding me. Totally forgot about that. But the last time it didn't cash because it ended 5-0 Seattle in Vancouver last April. But you're right. This is that crazy series where every game, I think it had been 14-1 to the over, 5.5.
I was right.
That's right. That's right. I forgot.
I didn't know the actual stat.
Under was the last meeting last year. The last time they played was April last year. That broke a 14 straight over 5.5 goals between these two teams head to head.
I might put a little more on there.
All right.
I knew it was, but I didn't know what the exact stat was. So there you go. So,
but every time I bet this freaking Seattle team over, they turn into the Kraken that I see most of the year, and 3-1. Write it down. Watch it be 3-1 tonight. Now that I say that, but I'll take a shot. 5.5 with that series history working for us. They're 14-1 to the over 5.5 Canucks versus Kraken. We'll take a shot. As far as props go, Eberle 3 straight games with a goal. Count me in. Drew O'Connor for Vancouver 2 straight games with a goal, and you're getting plus 600. Why not? Chandler Stevenson's been good lately. I think Marco Rossi, in that plus 350 range. This guy's capable of getting on a heater. Usually when he scores in one game, which he finally did against San Jose, he can get on a bit of a hot streak. So Marco Rossi would be interested in for props as well. All right, Minnesota, Vegas, even money, minus 110, 6 the total. I mean, this is just one of these, unfortunately, when we do this show, 2 p.m. Eastern, the day of the game, there's going to be certain games you bet early and the price is good and you don't have that same price when the show rolls around. And this is one of those instances. I took Minnesota, but, I was getting plus money. Now you're seeing here minus 110, even money both sides. So a lot of the value is gone. There's been a lot of money here on Minnesota. Some of it mine. I still think Vegas is a pretty strong play against team for me until they get Theodore and Eichel back. They're both out once again. They did put up a good fight against Colorado on Saturday. We'll give them credit for that, but they still ended up losing that game by a score of 6-5 on Saturday. Minnesota coming off a comeback win against the Winnipeg Jets. I just think Vegas is just not fully right at the moment until they get a little bit healthier. So, I'm liking this Minnesota side here around minus 110. Over by Fecta as well. Here in this game with the Wild and the Golden Knights. You never have to talk me into a first period over with the Vegas Golden Knights but at home. But so I'm on that, and I'm on the full game over 6 as well. It's Gustafsson versus Hart. It's Gustafsson versus Hart in net. So we'll see how it goes. I continue to think, though, Minnesota, based on what I see, they're playing with more robust pace and offensive flair since Quinn Hughes arrived on the scene. And the game totals bear that out. Minnesota's been trending more over than under ever since Quinn Hughes arrived. So, yeah, over by Fecta for me as well, plus the Wild at a better price, unfortunately, than what you can currently get out there with them at the moment. Perlo, what do you think here, Minnesota, Vegas?
Yeah, like you, I got this at plus 105. I also like them in the first period as well. Just I think they're a little bit desperate here. I like the first period as well, and I did take the draw plus 340. It's just a good price for a draw. The two teams could easily see a draw here. I could see a 3-3. Probably my favorite play here though is with Vegas playing, because Eichel's not back, so they got Marner playing up the middle. They're a little light up the middle there. I like Ek over shots. He's going to have a lot of opportunity up against Marner. Marner's a good defensive player, but he's usually better on the wing than he is up the middle, and he's kind of on the small side. So I think he's going to have a lot of open room there to get some shots. So I like Ek over shots in this one too, over 2.5.
All right, San Jose, Anaheim, last game on the Monday slate here. We've got Anaheim minus 180, home favorite, 6.5 the total here in this game. We've talked about this with Anaheim. They've had a good season. You know, they're in playoff position. They're a top 3 team in the Pacific right now. There's been a few more bumps in the road for them, I would say, the last couple weeks, where they've had a few more clunkers than I'm sure Joe Quenneville or anyone on that team would like. And certainly they had one coming out of the break. I mean, that game was over after that first period was so bad. It was so terrible. It had to be one of the worst periods of hockey Anaheim's played all year, easily. That's how bad it was. You gave a team that had no life, no confidence at all, and all of a sudden you gave them life with that first period egg that you laid in L.A. the other night. Nobody was happy about it. Cutter Gauthier really sounded off saying, we got to stop doing this to ourselves. We have these games where we're not ready to go from the opening puck drop, and we just don't show any sort of life whatsoever. I'd expect life, and I'd expect some life early here tonight from the Anaheim Ducks. So I like them first goal, first period tonight, Anaheim. Coming off that debacle against LA. First period puck line on Anaheim I like as well. I don't know about the full game because we know this San Jose team's a little feisty, and that was a nice bounce back win for them coming off their own debacle. Remember, they got pummeled, crushed by Vegas right before the break, and San Jose responded against Vancouver on Saturday night. Now, their shoes on the other foot now. San Jose's facing a team looking for a response after their own debacle against the LA Kings on Saturday night. So I like first goal, first period Anaheim and puck line Anaheim, and I like this over 6.5. For this game. I'm not going to overthink it. San Jose is an over machine right now. 5-0-1 in their last 6 games. It's a combination of Askarov has fallen off a little bit, and Nedeljkovic, can't trust him. Defensive play hasn't been as sturdy for the Sharks, but they can still score, and they continue to show that. Meanwhile, Dostal, 2-4, in the 6 starts since he's returned from injury, and he has not been as good as we saw pre-injury. He has struggled to get back to his A form, his A game, if you will. In between the pipes for the Anaheim Ducks. Not to mention, as far as it was 7-6 earlier this year between these two teams. I'm not going to ask for 13 goals tonight. I'll just ask for the 7 that we need for the over. But and plus Anaheim 8-1 run to the over in their last 9 home games. So Anaheim at home has been an over machine. And the only game that stayed under of the last 9 Anaheim home games was against Seattle. And how many times do we talk about how Seattle can be an overkiller sometimes? With the way they play. So other than that one game against Seattle at home, 8-1 run. You take out the Seattle game, it's 8-0 to the over for Anaheim in their last 8 home games. But with the Seattle game included, 8-1 in the last 9 Anaheim games to the over. So I like over 6.5 here as well. Perlo, final game. What do you think? San Jose, Anaheim.
Yeah, this is one of those I was waiting for the total as soon as it came out. It opened plus 100. I got over 6.5. Boom, nailed it. So yeah, I love this over in this game. Neither one of these teams are. I think Quenneville will have to work on with the Ducks defense somewhere down the road. I've been mentioned that before, but it's just not in the cards right now. These are all young guys that aren't used to playing that type of way, and this team needs to make the playoffs this year. It's really starting to get some pressure on them to make the playoffs. So yeah, give me the over. Big time here. I also like Granlund over shots. I've been playing it at 1.5, and I will play it at 1.5 at minus 160. I don't care. about the juice, I'll play it. But I don't mind 2.5 at plus 180 up on that top line. He's been going over that last 5 games, I think, straight ever since he's been on that top line. And the San Jose Sharks, they give up shots like crazy. So give me the over, and that was all. Oh, I'm going to take those first period plays from you. I'm going to tail those. I like those first period plays as well. Both teams to score first period, maybe. I mean, anything to do with scoring here that you're probably not going to go wrong.
Good stuff. Yeah. Prop wise, I'm going to go back. He finally got his first NHL goal. You knew it was going to happen. You keep playing him with Celebrini on that top line. You knew he was going to score at some point, and he did against Vancouver. Let's see if I like Igor Chernyshov once again tonight. You can get him at plus 380. Colin Graff, we have to bet him. We just have to. 4 straight games with a goal. Now, the prices aren't as good now. Some books have it below the plus 300 threshold for bargain bin, although it is still plus 310 at Pinnacle. And I'll just say it right now, it is one of my bargain bins here in this game. So like I said, got to bet Colin Graff still. He continues to score, find the back of the net for the Sharks. No question about that. I think for Anaheim here tonight in this game, look, just based on the fact he was pretty demonstrative to the media about, hey, we got to stop these duds that we've been having. We've had a few too many clunkers lately, Anaheim. Cutter Gauthier is the one that said it. I think maybe he scores a goal tonight, that he turns that talk into action. And Michael Granlund, I will go back to the well with Michael Granlund tonight. Even though he finally didn't score last game for Anaheim, still getting a lot of ice time, and still 3 of the last 4 he scored, and you're still getting a pretty good price too on Michael Granlund. You can get him as good as plus, actually below 300 now, so they've adjusted that too, but still plus 280. Pretty solid. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat at the like button. We appreciate it very much. Like I said, little rapid fire show today because we got some errands to run this afternoon, product of the holidays, unfortunately, but good stuff. Hit the like button. If you haven't done so already, check out wizardsportspicks.com. Lots going on, not only today, but this week. I mean, at the website today, we got plays in Monday Night Football, NFL, and it's been just a phenomenal NFL season for me. Number 1 ranked handicapper in the NFL at Wizard Sports Picks. So make sure you check that out, wizardsportspicks.com. In great form in all sports, profitable season in the NHL, NFL, NBA, college basketball. So to be able to say you're profitable in all 4 sports, I hope so. I better. All this fucking time and effort I'm putting in on a daily basis. But yeah, good stuff. It's good to see it pay off in the results. So make sure you check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And again, Beyond the Lines video series, make sure you check that out on YouTube every day. I contribute to that. So does Matt Robinson. So make sure you check it out, wizardsportspicks.com. And also check out patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 per month. Again, goalie charts, totals charts, bonus content, daily side total, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. We're going to have multiple betcasts exclusive to Patreon members in January and beyond, scheduled to be announced. So stay tuned for that. So make sure you get on board. Again, your membership and subscription goes a long way to supporting the show and keeping it going long term. So check it out. Get on board. Daily card posted each and every day. $10 per month, patreon.com/iceguys. And also the Ice Guys store. Christmas is past, but still plenty of opportunity to get some gear and merch over at the Ice Guys store at iceguys.myspreadshop.com. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Please for yourself with my love is no one. where the kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com, 20% off with promo code ICEGUYS. All right, bargain bin special of the night for this big Monday slate, a bigger than usual Monday slate. Perlo, we'll start with you, bargain bin special.
Yeah, I don't get on here very often, so I'm going to do what you did, and I'm going to take 3. I like them all. I'm going to go with the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to go with Jack Roslovich at plus 370. I think there'll be a lot of goals in that game. He's been shooting a ton. I'm going to go with Washington. I'm going to go with Protus. He's been on a hot streak too, and you're getting that at plus 390. And then if you go on my show, Rico and Perlo's House of NHL Picks Frolic, or Jaime's NHL Picks Frolic, we love Mr. Chandler Stevenson. We call him the spiritual reach around guy. And he's been scoring a lot of goals right now for Seattle. So I'm going to reach out to him. He's a great supporter of the Jaime's product. So plus 330 for Chandler Stevenson to score a goal today.
All right, there you go. Good stuff. I like a lot of those. All right, I got two tonight for bargain bin special. I'm going to Eric Robinson for Carolina. Plus 700 at DraftKings. He's looking for 4 in a row with a goal, and to be able to get a price like that for a player looking for his fourth straight game with a goal, great value there. Eric Robinson, Carolina, plus 700. And for my second bargain bin special, yes, it is indeed once again plus 310, just enough to be bargain bin worthy. Colin Graff, San Jose Sharks, plus 310. And again, we're talking about a player that's been certainly on a roll lately, and now looking for his 5th straight game with a goal for the San Jose Sharks. So there you have it. Good stuff indeed. Eric Robinson plus 700, Carolina. Colin Graff, San Jose plus 310 for my bargain bin specials for Monday night. All right, best bets. Not Alex. Perlo. Alex is back tomorrow. Perlo, what do you got for best bet?
Yeah, before I do again, I mentioned that show I'm on at 9:30 now Eastern every evening. Come check us out. We have exotic picks. Dre, he's fantastic. Rico's been a little on the weather, and he's coming back from Mexico, but he'll be on as well. If you like in-depth analysis that takes like a good 3 hours long, you'll enjoy it. All right. So my best bet, I'm going to go with the over in that San Jose game, San Jose Anaheim game. And if the game plays, I'm going to take Ottawa team total over 3.5.
All right, good stuff there. Let's get Alex's stuff in here too, as far as bargain bin and best bet. Before I give my best bet, because I know he sent it already to me, so I'm going to end up mentioning it now. It'll also be, of course, posted on the Patreon page. But bargain bin special for Alex as he is on his way home as we speak. David Perron, Ottawa Senators, plus 360. David Perron, Ottawa Senators, plus 360. For Alex B. Smith with his bargain bin special of the night. And his best bet is, hold on here. There we go. It is Vegas Golden Knights. So a little head-to-head. I'm on Minnesota in that game. Vegas, minus 115 against Minnesota for Alex with his Monday best bet. So there you go. Vegas is the best bet. David Perron, Ottawa, plus 360 for the bargain bin special for Alex here for this Monday. All right, my best bet here for this Monday slate. Let's see. Let's go with two totals here. Washington, Florida, over 5.5, minus 120. I just like the series history. Both teams have been trending more to the over of late in the short term as well. So give me Capitals, Panthers, over 5.5, minus 120. And the other one is going to be Edmonton, Winnipeg, over 6, minus 120, I believe, is still out there in a couple spots. Yes, it is. So shop around. Bet Rivers has over 6, minus 120. Again, this Edmonton trend off a loss and 2 goals or less is crazy. 9-1 to the over. Edmonton games off a loss of scoring just 2 goals or less in that loss. So very strong stuff. Oilers, Jets, over 6, minus 120 for my second best bet. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. That's a wrap. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. And if you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms: Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. For Perlo, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back tomorrow on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.